My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Spin Me Round. And this is a movie that I had no idea existed, but then I saw Red Letter Media did a review for it, and I was just like, you know what, I'll check this movie out. It's directed by Jeff Bainer, who's directed a couple movies that I enjoy, The Little Owls and Horse Girl, and it also stars Alison Brie and Aubrey Plaza. So I give it a try, and it's a very mixed bag for me, leaning more on the negative. Like, I get what this movie is trying to do, especially with the poster and how it sets everything up. It wants you to think that it's a romantic comedy, but then it subverts your expectations and gives you something else entirely. And then it starts building up this Taken-like plot, but then it subverts your expectation again, and now it feels like we're back where we were at the very beginning of this movie. So it just felt like lots of twists and turns to only land us exactly where we were at the start of this movie. And I just found it all to be very underwhelming. And the directions the movie goes in the last act didn't work for me in any way. Now, that said, I think the first act of this movie is great. Like, after the half-hour mark, I was just like, this just might be one of my favorite movies of this year. Like, I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I love the use of the corny music, but then once we got to that second act, the movie lost me, and I didn't really care about what was happening anymore. And then we've got the cast, which is pretty good for the most part. Alison Brie, who I love seeing the cast of Community succeed, so I'm glad that she's still doing movies, and she's doing a good job, and she's good in this movie. Aubrey Plaza's in this movie, and she's a total babe, and she's also great in this movie. You've also got yourself Little Ray Howie, who I think does a perfectly fine job in the short time he's in this movie. You've got Alessandro Nivola, who he has one really funny scene, but I don't think it was that good of a performance. Then you've got Ben Sinclair, who is fine. You've got yourself Debbie Wine, who, as soon as I saw him, just like, is that Bailey from The Street Life on Deck? Like, I grew up watching Zack and Cody. I haven't watched it in a very long time, and I'm just like, oh, she's in this movie. That's cool. So, yeah, she does a fine job. You've got Tim Heidecker, who I think is pretty funny in certain moments. Zach Woods, who is Gabe from The Office, and he's just got a certain awkward quality to him, which works really well for this movie. But the standout in this movie, without any hesitation, is Molly Shannon. This is a fantastic comedic performance. I'm being dead serious when I say this, but in a just world, she would be nominated for Best Supporting Actress for this movie. Every time she was on screen, she cracked me up. Like, just how in the very first scene she won't shut up about her luggage, and then she just turns into this over-the-top caricature later on. She just absolutely nails it. So really great work from her, and that's really all I have to say on this movie. Like, it's not that memorable of a movie, it's not that effective of a movie, and it's a pretty underwhelming experience overall. It sets up a really funny and unique type of comedy, but then in its attempt to constantly subvert your expectations and give you something you weren't expecting, I feel like it just loses all of that. And by the end, I didn't really care what happened, who these characters were anymore. I just kind of tuned out. So I'm going to go ahead and give Spin Me Round a 4.5 out of 10. The humor in the first act of this movie won't be for everyone. It's completely absurd, but that's why I love it. Like, there is a very specific kind of movie that comes out now with this specific kind of humor that I wish we got more of. Like, there's this one movie with Aubrey Plaza and Craig Robinson that came out a few years ago called An Evening with Beverly Buff Lynn. And I would not recommend this movie to, like, very many people, but that movie absolutely cracked me up, and I'd like more movies like that in the first act of this movie. But anyways, have you seen Spin Me Round? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.